Imagine a day so significant it changes the course of a nation forever. For South Africa, one of those days was March 21st, 1960. This is the story of Sharpeville, a story of courage, fear, and a country forced to look at itself in the mirror. On that morning, the township of Sharpeville, just south of Johannesburg, woke up early. It was a place of neat streets and hard-working families, but life here was governed by a web of oppressive laws. The most hated of these was the pass law. Every black South African adult was required to carry a small passbook, a document that dictated where they could live, where they could work, and where they could travel. Forgetting your pass meant risking arrest, but refusing it, that meant risking everything. On this day, the people of Sharpeville decided to refuse the plan. Organized by the Pan-Africanist Congress, was simple yet radical. People would leave their passbooks at home, walk to the local police station, and offer themselves up for arrest. The message was clear: arrest us all, or get rid of these unjust laws. The call for action spread through the community like a quiet but powerful current. Men left their homes without their passes. Women joined them. Young people walked alongside their elders. They weren't armed. They weren't trying to hide. They moved openly, their voices rising in freedom songs, their courage carried for all to see. By late morning, a crowd of thousands had gathered outside the Sharpeville police station. The atmosphere was a mix of nervous energy and resolute determination. Some people were laughing, others were singing, and many stood in quiet solidarity, unsure of what would happen next but committed to their cause on the other side of the fence. Police officers watched, their numbers growing as reinforcements arrived with armored vehicles. The air grew thick with tension, like the heavy stillness before a thunderstorm. Inside the police station, a different emotion was taking hold: fear. Later testimonies from officers would describe a feeling of being surrounded and outnumbered, yet many witnesses from the crowd insisted that the protest was peaceful, even festive at times. What remains undisputed is that the protesters carried no weapons. Many had, their hands raised in a gesture of peace. Then, without any audible warning, the singing was shattered by the sound of gunfire. For a moment, there was confusion. People ran, seeking cover, but many fell. Some turned back, unable to process what was happening. The shots kept coming, a relentless barrage into the scattering crowd. When the deafening noise finally ceased, a horrifying silence fell over Sharpeville. The ground was littered with bodies. 69 people were dead. Hundreds more were injured, many of them shot in the back as they tried to flee. The day that had begun with songs of hope ended in a scene of unimaginable horror. News of the massacre spread like wildfire, first across South Africa and then around the world. Photographs from the scene, images of the dead and dying, shocked the global conscience. For the first time, many people outside of South Africa saw apartheid for what it truly was, not just a system of political segregation, but a brutal regime enforced with bullets against unarmed civilians. The South African government's response was swift and severe. It declared a state of emergency, leading to the detention of thousands of activists. Anti-apartheid organizations like the ANC and the PAC were banned, forcing their leaders into exile or to operate underground. Any remaining hope for peaceful reform was extinguished in the smoke of the police rifles at Sharpeville. The event marked a decisive turning point, pushing the anti-apartheid movement towards armed struggle. It became painfully clear that this oppressive system would not be dismantled gently. For the families who lost their loved ones, Sharpeville left a wound that would never fully heal. For the nation, it was a moment of profound and painful truth. The massacre held up a mirror to a violent system that could no longer hide behind its own laws and justifications. The world was watching, and it could no longer look away. Years later, after the long and arduous struggle, apartheid finally came to an end. In the new, democratic South Africa, a day was chosen to commemorate the past and celebrate human dignity. That day is March 21st, now known as Human Rights Day. It is not just a day of celebration, but a solemn day of remembrance. A reminder of the unarmed people who stood together for their rights. A reminder of the voices that chose to sing in the face of oppression. And a reminder of a day when the world was forced to see the truth. In Sharpeville today, The streets still seem to echo with the footsteps of those who walked without their passes, who believed that their dignity was worth the ultimate risk. Some stories are so powerful they change a nation's destiny. The story of Sharpeville is one of them. Thank you for watching. If you found this story important, please consider subscribing for more content that explores the pivotal moments that have shaped our world.